Islam. Peace.
Islam. Islam to the brother in the chat. Meeting starts in 5 minutes. And I was just putting that out there to anyone in here. If you have any questions, feel free to speak up. Feel free to ask your questions now. To the person that just joined, Stefan Forrester. Is that the brother in Cincinnati? All right. And to the sister, Stacy, were you on were you on the call with us last week?
Join the meeting.
All right. Brother Jackson Bay, Sister Douglas Hill, when people are coming in the waiting room, if we don't recognize them, can you please get them to share their name, location, phone number, email before they're allowed to join? All right.
No, listen, I'm not.
To the person calling in from the 513 area code, can you please state your name and your location?
Okay, let me figure out how to do this. If I get in there.
Yeah, I can hear you. We can hear you.
Stefan Forrester, Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay, all right. Okay, you're on the phone and on the app?
Okay, I'm new at this, so I'm confusing myself. I need to just be on the app. I don't need to be on the app. I'll figure it out in a second here.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
Happy Holy Day. Peace and love.
Happy Holy Day, Moors.
Islam.
Islam, am I good? Can you hear me well?
Yeah, we can hear and see you.
Okay. Peace, brother. Peace.
Islam. Peace. Were you able to get in touch with the temple in Florida?
Actually, I sent an email that last week and I haven't heard from them, and this morning I sent another one, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Guess, I'll hang tight for the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they'll definitely follow up with you. And then in Florida, there's a temple in South Florida, and then they're opening up 2 other missions, I think in West Palm Beach and Tampa. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fort Lauderdale it's a 15, 20-minute drive for me up north.
Okay. All right. Yeah, but right now they definitely like they do the call with everybody on it, you know. So definitely, well, like you said, you hit them up, so they'll follow up with you.
Right.
All right. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get started. All right. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. If you are able to, please rise and face the east. All right, please rise and face the east for the Moorish American prayer. Put your heels together, feet at a 45-degree angle, 2 fingers on the right, 5 on the left, and repeat after me. Allah.
Allah.
Allah,
Father of the universe.
Father of the
Father of the universe,
Father of love.
Father of love.
of
Truth.
truth,
Peace.
peace,
Freedom.
freedom,
And justice.
and justice.
Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector,
My guide.
My
my
God.
guide,
And my salvation.
and my salvation.
By night and by day.
By night and by
By
day.
night and by day,
Through his holy prophet.
Through his holy
through his
prophet.
holy prophet,
Drew Ali.
Through
through
Ali.
Ali.
Amen.
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 Islam.
All right, I want to announce that the meeting is now open. We always rise and give the highest praise to the Most High, the Father of the universe, Allah. We give honors to our divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali, for bringing us, returning to us our divine creed and nationality. We give honors also to the forerunner to the prophet, Brother Marcus Mosiah Garvey, for preparing the way for him, and also honors to all the Adepts, Sheiks, and all the faithful Moors that make up the grand body of the Moorish divine and national movement.
Join the meeting.
I'm sorry. Also give honors to the first appointed Supreme Grand Sheikh by Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and that's Brother E. Millie Ill. In addition to that, we give honors to the current Supreme Grand Sheikh, and that's Brother D. Bailey, K. Dandridgel. We also give honors to all the faithful Moors, all the Ills and Bays out there, all right? In addition, give honors to the Grand Council of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Now, if you may please, Brother Jackson Bay, please read the Divine Constitution and Bylaws.
I rise and give praise to Allah and honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Happy Holy Day. Salvation, Allah, unity, the Moorish Science Temple of America, the Divine Constitution and Bylaws. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and the Chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce law with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Assistant Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to Circle 7 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest because on a Friday the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed that they may know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779, and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Jew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become part and parcel of all uplifting acts of the Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of the household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Jew Ali, through the guidance of his father God Allah. Noble Jew Ali, founder, Moorish American prayer, Allah, the father of the universe, the father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day through his holy prophet, Jew Ali. Amen. The Moorish Science Temple of America, Home Office of Noble Jew Ali. Home Office, Chicago, Illinois, USA. Islam, Islamism. Happy Holy Day, Muslims.
Islam, happy holy day. I appreciate you. Thank you for reading the divine constitution, brother. Right, happy holy day, Moors. To the caller from 614 area code 378 number, can you please state your name, location, and that's it, just your name and location.
Nanya Wardick L, Columbus, Ohio.
All right, can you state your name again?
Wardick L.
Wardick L.
Wardick.
Can you spell it for me?
WARUK.
All right, thanks. Islam.
Islam.
All right, and with the with the reading of the Moorish American prayer right there at the end where excuse me, Brother Jackson Bay was reading right there, Allah, the Father of the universe. With that description, you know, with the word Father as applied to as our God applied to Allah, you know, we understand as Moorish Americans that Allah's nature is beyond our ability to fully comprehend. And so we put, you know, allegory or anthropomorphic expressions so that we can better understand, you know, that which is incomprehensible, the infinite. Okay. And so with that, you know, terminology of father, all right, the father's the protector, the provider, that provides security for the family unit. He's the one that lays down the law and gives order and structure to the family unit. All right, the creator, the architect. All right, and so that's why we would attribute Allah as the Father. Okay, but actually, in full understanding of that, you know, it's incomprehensible. We can't really assign a gender or even, you know, any terms that we can really describe to what Allah is. Right, and so Allah is the Father of the universe because the universe is all the totality of all things as far as we know, seen and unseen. Seen and unseen. All right, and so that's just some further explanation on that. We're going to go ahead and move forward, though. We're reading chapter 46, and this is on the beginning of Christianity in the Holy Koran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. We'll pull this up on the screen. If you don't have a copy, you could just read along with us. And we'll get started in 1 second. Okay. All right. And also, if anyone has any questions, feel free to speak up. You don't have to wait or anything. Just unmute your mic and go ahead and speak up or ask. All right. And so we get it started right now. Chapter 46, the beginning of Christianity. All right. Okay. Verse 1, the foundation of Christianity began in Rome. The Roman nations founded the first church, of whom crucified Jesus of Nazareth for seeking to redeem his people from under the Roman yoke and law. Jesus himself was of the true blood of the ancient Canaanites and Moabites, which means that we are of the lineage of Jesus, because this is the same lineage we have. He was of the true blood of the ancient Canaanites and Moabites and the inhabitants of Africa, seeking to redeem his people in those days from the pressure of the pale-skinned nations of Europe. Rome crucified him according to their law. Europe had peace for a long time until Muhammad I came upon the scene and fulfilled the works of Jesus of Nazareth. The holy teaching of Jesus was to the common people, to redeem them from under the great pressure of the hands of the unjust, that the rulers and the rich would not oppress the poor, also that the lion and the lamb may lay down together, and neither would be harmed when morning came. These teachings were not accepted by the rulers, neither by the rich, because they loved the principles of the Ten Commandments. Through the Ten Commandments, the rulers and the rich live, while the poor suffer and die. The lamb is the poor people, and the lion is the rulers and the rich. And through love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, all men are one and equal to seek their own destiny and to worship under their own vine and fig tree, after the principles of the holy and divine laws of their forefathers. All nations of the earth in these modern days are seeking peace, but there is but one true and divine way that peace may be obtained in these days, and it is through the highest principles known to man: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, being taught universally to all nations in all lands. All right, and that's the end of this chapter. But we also have in our Quran that we are returning Christianity to the European because it's for their earthly salvation, right? And we're returning to Islam because it's for our earthly and divine salvation. And then we know that divine, is dealing with God, of or from God, of or like God, right? And so, if Christianity is for the Europeans' earthly salvation, that's strictly dealing with the carnal world, right? Strictly dealing with, the three-dimensional carnal world, and then Islam's taking care of that as well as beyond this realm of existence, right? Of or from God, divine salvation, right? And when we just, some of the things that we've been discussing over time, just looking in the Quran, seeing the description or the description the path that Allah has placed for his people. We always talk about Surah 2, Ayah 30, where Allah is telling the angels that he will create a viceroy on earth, and that's the ruler, the ruler on behalf of the sovereign, or the ruler on behalf of God. And he's talking about all men and women, all of us. And so by returning to Islam, we are returning to this, right? Something that's not, not always taught, especially from the Christian perspective, or especially from the Christianity as taught here in the West, right? They're totally leaving that out. Just recently, not too long ago, there was an incident where the Pope gave up his title as a vice of Christ, or a viceroy of Christ. Like, he removed that title, and for most people, that just, they're not really paying attention to it, but that's actually a big deal. It's a big deal as far as Christianity is concerned. The Pope removed his title as the vice of, I'm trying to find the exact wording, but I believe it was a vice or a viceroy, vicar of Christ, right? These are the times that we're in right now. All right, this is extremely important. And a lot of this also plays into who we are as a people. We're supposed to be coming into our own right now, right? But with the Pope dropping this title, you know, it says a lot about what is going on. Why is he stepping down? Why is he removing that? You know, there's a lot of corruption within, and I'm not trying to put the Catholic Church or any other organization on the spot, but it's just the truth. There's a lot of corruption in there. They have a lot of incidences, you know, with the priests molesting children, just a whole lot of corruption, and it's, you know, it's getting out of control. Okay, and so all of this, I'm sorry, we have a question. All right, so all of this is tied into us. All of this is connected to us. We are returning this to the European. This is not the viceroy. This is not the ruler or the representative of God on earth for us. If you're under the yoke of Christianity, it doesn't matter what denomination it is, even though there's some denominations that don't really get along with Catholics, it doesn't matter. This is your representative of God on earth, right? And he just vacated that title of Vicar of Christ, okay? So this is a big deal. We don't need that though. As Moorish Americans, as Muslims, that doesn't even apply to us, right? Because we know that we don't even need that intermediary. We can go straight to it. First thing that it tells you in the Quran, of course, is that Allah is within you, and then it's teaching you how to tap into that, how to connect to that, giving you the blueprint with the missing years of Jesus' life so that you can follow and begin to consciously connect to your higher self and make that a way of life so that you can walk in that, you know, in that pathway that's already been set. That's the pathway to success. And that's also why we say as Moorish Americans that we have a destiny that's neither uncertain nor unknown, because if you are walking in that pathway and you're using the tools that we have within the Quran to keep our passions and desires squared within the bounds of righteousness, you can't lose. You can't fail. We don't have to worry about coronavirus or anything else that's going on around us, because we're walking on the pathway to success no matter what. All right. And so really that's what we have with this. We have, you know, the tools, the pathway, everything there that we need to be successful. Islam.
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 Okay, and just going back to this chapter though, does anyone have any questions? Any statements anyone want to add?
Islam, I rise to give praise to Allah, honors to his prophet, honors to all you Moors in attendance. I just want to add, this is right in alignment with, as Muslims, we are born with the unlimited capacity for goodness. And so that's why Noble Drew Ali said, give the Europeans back Christianity. We don't follow the ways of the European. We don't follow after the gods of the Europeans. That is our sinful ways. That was our sinful ways. When they talk about being born in sin, that's not what Islam teaches. That's what Christianity teaches. And being a Moorish American Muslim, we're breaking that cycle. We're breaking those chains of bondage of us being bad from birth. We're not born in sin. We're not bad from birth. We are seeds of perfect development. And the seed of perfect development is planted within each and every one of us. And praise is due to Allah, and honors to his prophet Noble Drew Ali for bringing us our divine creed and nationality and teaching us this, because without these teachings, we will be one of the deaf, dumb, and blind, thinking that we are bad and we're black because black means bad. Islam.
So it's
Islam.
actually our divine duty, right, as Muslims, to return to Islam and then to go and teach this, because all other Asiatics are supposed to also do the same. They're supposed to follow suit, return Christianity back to the European for their earthly salvation. We're not down in Christianity, right? But we're returning to our earthly and divine salvation in Islam. And to accept someone like the Pope or anyone else as a vicar of Christ, and you see that on here says an earthly representative of Christ, maybe putting them on some pedestal that you're not on, that's against everything that we stand on as Muslims. We know that Allah created us as his viceroy on earth, all of us, right? And when you look that word viceroy up, that's a ruler exercising authority on behalf of the sovereign or on behalf of God. That's us, right? So we don't need that. And, you know, maybe some people do need a pope or someone external. That's not even our issue. That's not even our problem. We don't need that. So we have to return to Islamism. We have to practice this, make this a way of life, and get out and teach and you know, bring other Asiatics on board so that they can return to their divine roots, right? Their divine creed. All right, because this is not going to help us. There's no way this could save us. And then he just vacated this title, you know, the vicar of Christ, of Christ. The notion of vicar is an earthly representative of Christ, you know, placing him as if he's the only one. And then he vacated that title just this month, right? They're saying in a surprise move, Pope Francis dropped the historical title, essential title, vicar of Christ. That's what made him special, right? That he was the vicar of Christ. It says essential title. Okay, and he just dropped it and said it's just a historic title, like he doesn't need it. He's not gonna go into the specifics of why, because then that would open up a can of worms, but he's just gonna, you know, stop using it, right? It's time for us to return to our state, right? As Moorish Muslims, we have to do this, right? They're stepping down. It's time. Everything is telling us that it's time. Everything that's going on around us, the infighting that is occurring up at the very top, right? The power, there's a battle for power right now. It's behind the scenes. It's kind of cloaked behind the coronavirus and the economic, anything that's going on, you know, out there. There's a battle for power occurring, okay? All of that stuff doesn't matter though, because at the end of the day, it's time for us to rise up. And these things are all just signs of the time, okay? So their vicar of Christ just vacated the title. And, you know, popes don't get elected. They, you know, they get appointed and they basically serve that for life, or, you know, unless they want to step down and retire. Okay, so he vacated that. And it's time for us to step up. So this is a must. You know, it's important that all Asiatics know the beginning of Christianity, know the truth about it and how it relates to them, why they should return to Islam, practice Islamism, okay? And just to share with people, just in case anyone is unsure of what we mean, I'm just gonna read this really quick. What is Islam? This is from the Prophet. Islam is a very simple faith. It requires man to recognize his duties towards God, Allah, his creator, and his fellow creatures. It teaches the supreme duty of living at peace with one's surroundings, right? That's simple, that's universal. It's preeminently the religion of peace. The very name Islam means peace. The goal of a man's life, according to Islam, is peace with everything. You know, that's universal. Peace with Allah and peace with man, right? And when we see other men, you know, and not gender specific, you know, when you see another human, you honor them because why? Because you're honoring Allah, right? The Quran, the holy book of Islam, tells us that the final abode of man is the house of peace, where no vain word or sinful discourse will be heard. The Holy Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, says that a follower of Islam in the true sense of the word is one whose hands, tongue, and thoughts do not hurt others. The object of man's life, according to Islam, is its complete unfoldment. As the sister was saying, Islam teaches that man is born with unlimited capacities for progress. Islam does not support the idea that man is born in sin. That's extremely important because that's the first thing they teach you in Christianity, the original sin. You were just born in sin because of what Adam and Eve did, right? So we don't support that idea. You know, it teaches that everyone has within them the seed of perfect development, and it rests solely with themselves to make a mar's fortune. The cardinal doctrine of sin is the unity of the Father Allah. We believe in one God, Allah, who is all good, all God, all mercy, and all power. He is perfect and holy, all wisdom, all knowledge, and all truth. And these are just some of his great attributes so far as we can understand. He's free from all defects, holy and transcendent, personal to us, insofar as we see his attributes working for us and in us, but he is nevertheless impersonal because he's infinite, perfect, and holy. We do not believe that death, decay, or sleep overtakes him. Neither do we believe that he is helplessly inactive and inert force. Nothing happens without his knowledge and will. Neither begets nor is begotten, because these are trails of frail and weak humanity. This unity of Allah is the first and foremost pillar of Islam, and every other belief hangs upon it. And so as long as you understand this, no one, saying that they're a Muslim can say anything about you, your customs, your beliefs, because that's the cardinal belief. That's the faith. That's the understanding that all of this hinges on. All right. And so we're returning to our divine creed for our earthly and divine salvation. And that's extremely important, especially in these times. I know everyone's been hearing it's the last days and been hearing that for a long time, but it is, it is not for us, but it is for this world that is coming down. All right. For this power structure that is coming down. Okay. And so that's actually a big deal, though, that the Pope dropped that Vicar of Christ title. All right. You don't see it reported like on the mainstream news, but it's there. It's kind of like there's a little footnote. All right. But that's a big deal. And it also ties into us as who we are and what we are supposed to do as Moorish Muslims. Islam. If anybody has any questions or anything, even if it's not related to this lesson, feel free to speak up and ask them now.
Peace.
Islam. Go ahead, David.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to add, if you want to know in detail how they established Christianity, you can look into the Council of Nicaea. I want to say it was two of them, to where they got established what they were going to believe in with Christianity. And as far as Jesus being the Son of God, as in the only Son of God, and the Holy Trinity. Peace.
Islam. I wanted to add, I was just thinking this chapter made me think about the chapter when it starts off. I looked it up, right? So I think it's 16, and it says, it starts out, the superstitious people are the Jews. They have a faith that they have borrowed from the idol worshippers of other lands. And at the end of we read that earlier. So it made me reflect back to that one because, basically, for one, we're not supposed to be superstitious, meaning being scared of the unseen or being scared of the divine. And we're not supposed to take other people in Christianity like that, like Davis L. just brought up. This was founded by Rome. You feel? This was founded by Rome. We got he knows the council, the date, we all know the date when this was founded. Islam started with man. So and also we're seeing that the Jews is in our bloodline because they also was in Canaan and Jesus was there. Jesus was sent to help them. We got to stay, we got to stay for what the prophet, we got to the same way. We can't never, basically what I'm trying to say is we can't never do what the Jews did to their prophet. You feel me? As far as we got to keep our prophet, even though he changed form, we got to keep his teachings. His teachings is basically him. And we got to keep him pristine. You feel me? Or else we're going to follow Rome, basically, the situation that we're in now. You know what I mean? If we don't stick to Islam and the prophet, and then it shows the found. So that made me think about that. It just made me go back to that and just think about, the Jews basically the Israelites was basically a good example on, you know, why not to go against what Allah sends us. And that's basically what I got from this chapter, Islam. I hope I wasn't long-winded.
Islam, thanks for sharing that, brother. Thank you.
Islam.
All right. Islam.
Just wanted to just add on, like Mansa Musa, who was also a Moor, and that's one of my, you know, one of my studies, you know, one of my favorite studies, Mansa Musa. And you know, from what I've learned, he kind of like was, you know, began that little, you know, that step to, you know, creating a nation within a nation, so to speak. Islam.
All right. So does anybody else have any questions or any statements, anything you want to make? All right.
Islam. I was really asking if that was, you know, with, like, sort of within, like, the regions of where this is coming from, right?
Islam. Are you talking about like what Mansa Musa was doing?
Islam.
I'm not sure if I understand the question.
Right. I'm thinking too hard right now. I might need to study Islam.
Islam. Okay, I see hand raised. Islam, brother.
Islam. I have brother sitting in with me, and he has a question. So, you know, I just want to turn the microphone over to him and let. How you doing? Hey, like you said, I'm interested in becoming a Moor, man. My man's up here, he's showing me some good stuff, and like he caught my eye. So I'm trying to find out, like, what is it that I need to do? Do I change my life?
All right. Hang on a second. The audio's choppy. So just in case we can't hear you, you can try again, but just in case we can't hear you, just send your information and we'll you know, we'll dialogue off of here. But go ahead and try again.
Okay.
Yeah, we can't hear you. It's breaking up real bad.
Dang.
Islam, I got a question.
Islam.
What did Drew Ali mean by the Ten Commandments? The 10 Commandments was used by the rich and the rulers to oppress the poor. Islam.
All right. Hang on. Just with that right there, when you had the 10 Commandments, you actually had like 42 laws. So, and you only had 10 of them, you know, that were kind of like picked and chose to be the ones to base the laws off of. Islam, can you hear me?
Islam, I can hear you. Did you? Was you finished or you just?
I was just okay. So you only have 10 laws out of like 42 that are being used, you know, for you know, basically for the civilization, right? And so just like with the Council of Nicaea, where you have certain books being left out of the Bible, you know, certain things are being changed up or removed so that you can control the narrative, right? The same people who were the priests at that time, these are the people who crucified Jesus, right? And so do we trust the laws, you know, that they used for their society? These are the same people that, like, Jesus was coming up in the church because they're like, you know, they're making money. They got commerce and things going on in there, doing a lot of a lot of corrupt things that were going on. These are some of the things that he was coming to change. And these are the ones who wound up, you know, setting the structure. So even that setup is faulty. Islam.
Okay, that's okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was thinking like, okay, so it goes back like basically, okay, everything is layered. So what, and basically we're the ancestors from back then just revisited. So all the same things is in the same play. You feel me? So it just, you explain that, just make it more clearer for what I was thinking. You know what I mean? Because I was tying, you know, the 10 Commandments, the verse with the superstitious of the Jews and how they betrayed Christ. You know what I mean? All of that, you know, not throwing anybody under the bus or any organization under the bus, just, you know, understanding like, okay, the 10 Commandments was just an excerpt, you know, and not everything for, so, okay, Islam.
All right. And, okay, to the brother, go ahead and try again. I see you came out and came back in.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I had to switch up to my computer. You can hear me clearly now?
Islam.
All right, so I'm trying to see how I go about becoming a Moor. My man's been showing me a lot. He been, you know, and I'm really interested. Now, is that something like I had to change my way of life and all that? Like what does that intake?
Islam, peace and love. I mean, you were born a Moor, Islam. So to be a Moorish American Muslim, you're gonna first, you're doing the right thing by sitting in the meeting and studying with us, because these teachings are helping you to get your mind, body, and soul back in alignment with our ancient forefathers, who is, you know, they're connected to the ancient civilization creators, you know, that bring us back in alignment with our higher self, back to Allah. And so, you know, this is what you need to do. You know, you just have to be consistent in studying self and learning with us, because like at the end of the day, we're all students. We're all students of the Most High, and we're all here to practice peace while we're studying, to be at one with, you know, our Father God Allah. So, I mean, it's not so complicated as people may think. I mean, all you have to do is really feel it in your heart to be a part of this movement and to want to uplift fallen humanity, because that's what we are called to do. We uplift ourselves, we be perfect examples, and everybody else will follow under because they see the light in us. Islam,
thank you, sister. And just kind of saying the same thing that she said, but you know, like she said, we're all born Moors, and that's fine and everything, but at a point in time, our ancestors got removed from that connection to our divine ancestry. So if you want to relink, you join the society that Prophet Noble Drew Ali established within the Moorish Science Temple of America. Being a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America is the same as being a citizen of our Islamic nation state. So you join the Moorish Science Temple of America, proclaim your nationality, and learn what that means. Like you were saying, do you have to change your ways? You will, as you learn this, right? You'll want to, all right? And so, you know, this is a part of our job as Moorish Americans. Once we join and learn what it means and we're living the life, now we have to teach others, because our people have fallen off. We've fallen so far away from the root. Not only do we not know who we are, but we also think it's cool to be savage, right? The creators of civilization, you know, that made pyramids and did all these amazing things, think it's cool to be like an animal, to be savage, to be down for whatever. So we have to unlearn all of that. We have to be civilized again. So yeah, you have to change your ways, but you'll do that as you come in and learn what it means, right? So that's kind of a part of the process. We proclaim our nationality and but we also teach him what that means so that we can live it and walk it and actually be who our ancestors were, right? And so that's what you need to do. Join the Moorish Science Temple of America. All right, become a faithful member, faithful citizen within your society. Islam.
What you do here in the flesh is what you do in the spirit.
Islam.
Oh, what's up?
What I'm about to put him in a group because he wants to Zoom on his phone. So, because he's located in Dayton, Ohio, and he's just down here as we speak. So, I'm about to add him in the group so that the information for the Zoom can be available to him.
Islam. What's that brother's name?
Your gas.
Can you say
Dante
that?
Red, DONTAYREDD.
Did you say Dalton Grant?
Dante Red.
Okay. All right, thanks. All right. So
Islam, he's in. I don't mean to cut you. My bad. My bad, Douglas. He in Dayton, you said?
Yeah, it's Dayton, Ohio. My name is spelled Dante, DONTAY. My phone number is 937-972-1606.
I got you, bro. I live in Dayton too. I'll holler at you.
Islam.
It's four of us.
Islam.
Four of us. Yeah, you already know.
Islam, brother Dante, do you know a Corey Ward?
Nah, no sir, I don't.
Okay.
Don't believe I do.
Okay. Islam.
All right, so we right on time. All right. That's also why I wanted to share that, about the Pope dropping that title of the Vicar of Christ. Okay. And we know that's why we keep reading that ayah, Surah 2, ayah 30, right? Where Allah is letting the angels know that he created man to be his viceroy on earth, right? And then we're returning Christianity back to the European because from their perspective, the Pope is the viceroy of God on earth. And we don't need that, all right? Because that's already been bestowed upon us. That's our birthright. Every Moor, that's our birthright. Every Asiatic, okay? We understand this. And so we're returning to this for our earthly and divine salvation. Because if you don't know this, then, you're cut off mentally, right? All is mine. You're mentally cut off from God, from your true connection, your divine birthright. All right? So, we don't need that. They're beefing over this. This is actually a big deal for Catholics. The Pope dropped this title, and they're saying in here some German cardinal is going in, speaking about the embarrassment it is that Pope Francis would drop that title, trying to say it's just some historical title. He doesn't want the burden of it, right? He doesn't want the historical burden of the representative of Christ, the visible head of the entire church. This is all, what they're doing, but we don't need that, all right? Because we are the viceroys of Christ. We're the viceroys of Allah on earth, each and every last one of us. We're the Els and Bays. We're the angels. Islam. And so we're returning to our divine ways. And that's why it's so powerful what Prophet Noble Drew Ali brought. And that's why the message and everything is right on time, right here and right now. And it applies to each and every one of us right now. Okay. And so, we kind of have like a little window to get our stuff together. so that next time something like this coronavirus pops up, it doesn't catch us off guard, because we have our own community. We're building, we're moving and utilizing our power, fulfilling our potential, right? Because we're moving from the proper perspective, knowing who we are. All right. So it's extremely important that we do it, and we're right on time. Everything is right in alignment. Okay. That's really all I had to share for today, though. If anybody has anything else they want to add, any statements, any questions, feel free to speak now. All right. Want to announce without further ado, we're going to go into the closing of the meeting. All right. Brother Jackson Beck, can you read the additional bylaws?
Additional laws for the Moorish Americans by the Prophet Noble Jew Ali. Act 1. Grand sheikhs and governors and heads of all temples and all businesses, each said temple must be approved by the Prophet Noble Jew Ali. Before acting upon by any member, let it be finance, property, or any line of life that will cause the member to sacrifice finance, etc., that will cause the support of any group of members. Any former officer that violates these laws is subject to be removed from his office under heavy restrictions, etc., by the Prophet or the Grand Sheikh. Act 2. All members are to attend their adab meetings and their public meetings properly. If a member is found standing around on a meeting period, shall be fined 50 cents on the first case, and on the second will be fined $1, which will go on your emergency fund. If member is working, his monthly dues must be paid, and if he has money in the bank, he must subscribe for as much as he is able to the Moorish Uplifting Fund, because it takes finance to uplift the nation. Act 3. It is the lawful and divine duty of all good members, if he is able to finance, to aid me in saving the nation. And if he does not, he is an enemy to the cause of uplifting his own people, and justice must catch you. Let it be he or she according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, as I have the power invested in my hands, and I have to enforce the law in order to save the nation. Act 4. All members, while up making public speeches, must not use any assertion against the American flag or speak radically against the church or any member of any organized group, because we are to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Act 5. All members must promptly attend their meetings and send their children to Sunday school, and the teacher must confirm himself to the questionnaire, and let every member exercise his 5 senses who is able to do so, because out of your Sunday school come the guiders of the nation. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, Black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Jew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become part and parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Jew Ali, through the guidance of his father God, Allah. Islam, 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 Islam.
Islam.
Islamism. Thank you, brother. All right, brother Kobe, can you please read the writs of the prophet?
Islam. Like to give honors to the great God Allah. Like to give honors to our prophet Noble Drew Ali. And give honors to all Moors on this holy day. To the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Islam. This is the instructions from your prophet Noble Drew Ali. Be faithful unto your forefather divine and your national creed, that you will be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is on now. But the weak can comprehend it not. The end of times is drawing near, so says Allah to his divine prophet, I, Noble Drew Ali, and that's why many hearts have turned to stone, and many have and many have eyes to see, but cannot see, ears to hear, but cannot hear. At least they will be confined to their sins. These are the trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving, and they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid, and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but will sacrifice the utmost to your very life to protect your movement and your prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the lowest, very lowest, and the one that speaks against your divine national principle and your temple. Act accordingly, and Allah will bless you for your good work. Peace, your divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Prophet warns all Muslims to be read in every meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards to Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any members or group of members who hold malicious feelings towards the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their rewards from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting the prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Peace, Noble Drew Ali. To be proclaimed at every meeting. Islam. I am glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people of our side of the nation that claimed that I was a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found it out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they can take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement of movement and uplifting funds, the ones that paid their divine respects to me and the movement will be remembered. This is why I'm calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finances, and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finances so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through the jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the earth will not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being head. It has been proven by my works, which I have performed in the past few years. Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Islam, Islam, Islamism.
Islamism. Thank you, brother. To the person that just joined, says Galaxy J3. Please share your name, location, and email, phone number. I'm not sure if everyone in here has seen this before, but just real quick before we go, wanted to share the national strategy for the census, 2020 census. We're advising everyone to check the some other race box at the bottom, where it asks you for your race. Check some other race and write in Asiatic Moorish. Everyone, all Moors, all people of so-called African descent, okay? And then we're also advising people, who know they have an indigenous heritage as far as indigenous to the Americas, whether it's oral tradition or whatever in your family. Also check the box that says American Indian and write in more, okay? And the federal government understands what that means. They also understand when you put some other race and write Asiatic Moorish, they understand what that means. Okay.
Peace. Question.
Islam.
Is that a designation the same for like if you are updating Social Security or applying for a job, and so forth?
You know what? That's a good question. It's kind of confusing because the whole race ethnicity thing is determined by the Office of Management Bureaus. It's something weird, like this whole SF 181 form is used for the it's used for the census, and the Center for Disease Control is used for several government agencies. So I don't know if that's what they use for Social Security, but more than likely they do. And yeah, here it is. It says Office of Management and Budget. I have no idea why they made that, the designation for the office that's in charge of, their racial classifications. But more than likely, this is across the board for, probably for all different government offices. So, this is probably the same for Social Security and everything. All right. And we advise this, for those that don't know, because we understand. Well, first, I'll show you just throughout time, they've been defining what Black means or what Negro means. And it's been something that they've removed from the family of humans. Okay. They made it something that's just confined to slave Africans and their descendants. All right. And it's actually something that's non-descendable because it's incapable of having ancestry, right? It doesn't have any connection to people who were civilized, who have culture and, history. All right. That's why some say that Black is equal to being nihilus filius, meaning you're, just basically you're an illegitimate, people. Don't have any connection to any civilization. And so we still see that today in the wording, even though it's sneakier. They don't just come out and say it like they did in the Negro Act, but it's still implied. Black racial groups. Everybody else is from an original people somewhere. Asians, American Indians, Pacific Islanders, white people. Everyone is from an original people somewhere in the world except for Black. And so we advise everyone to self-identify. And what we're advising people to do ties you back in to your heritage as the creators of civilization. And it's already understood. Okay, so if anybody has any questions about that, feel free to ask, but this is what we advise everyone to do. Some other race at the bottom, write in Asiatic Moorish. And then also, you can check American Indian, write in more. I'm doing both. You may just put some other race and write Asiatic Moorish. But like right on here where it says Blackfeet tribe, that's what my grandfather, was. That's what his father was, right? Dark-skinned brother. And so, I'm checking American Indian, writing in more. And then I'm going down here, writing some other race, Asiatic Moorish. And I have 7 people in my household, wife and 5 children. That's what we're putting. Okay? And so I was just sharing that. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. And, you know, before we close out, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. All right. Okay. So I'll go ahead. Go ahead.
Why are Moors filling out census forms?
Okay. Because we're citizens of the United States of America. Is there any confusion about that?
Explain it. The United States of America is a corporation.
On paper. Ghana is also a corporation on paper. I mean, I can go on and on. I can name like 100 different nations that are corporations on paper. What does that mean? That's one way to announce yourself to the world. Incorporating. That's how nation states are done in this modern day and time. That doesn't mean that the United States of America is only a corporation on paper. That would be a foolish assertion to take when there's literally over 1 million people in the armed forces. When they literally, you know, I mean, like that's just, I mean, that's a foolish take. You have a National Guard. You have people willing to lay their life down for that. It doesn't hold any weight. All nation states in this modern day incorporate to announce their intent to unify as Uganda. But if you try to go to Uganda and say, oh, you guys are just a corporation on paper, I can do whatever I want here, you're going to be in for a rude awakening because it's a real nation. Does that make sense?
No. No, it doesn't. The example you used wasn't very good about Uganda.
Well, I use that example because this is how modern nations,
the United States
modern nation states move.
Is a corporation. And anytime you use that title and adhere to that title, you are a United States corporate citizen. And becoming that, it was told to us in their writing that you are not. And that's the whole rift between the case with your boy talked about, well, if you got to be African descent, you can't be African descent and be a member of that corporation. So if you're saying you're not of African descent or Aboriginal of this land, you cannot be a member of that corporation. So no matter how much we say we 13, 14, 15, we're not. We don't receive the benefits. We never have, and we damn sure ain't been treated like we are. We weren't allowed to get ahead and profit and benefit from the corporation like every other group is coming here and doing. There is a difference. We have watched every group come here and surpass us, but we have worked harder. Our ancestors worked harder. We have created more. These people come here, these foreigners come here, and they don't know that traffic like they're stopping at that our ancestor Garrett Morgan created it. They don't know that food came on that refrigerated truck. We created it. They look at us as we didn't do anything because that's what they have in their books, that we didn't do anything. So they're programmed just like everybody else. And they never wanted you to be a citizen of their corporation. And that's not my goal, to be a citizen of their corporation. That is not the goal. Now, you can say I am an American national and that I was here first.
That's wrong.
Before
I'm gonna have to mute you right there. I have to answer that. Now that's wrong. First off, a citizen, okay, and this is from Black's Law's Dictionary. A citizen is a member of a free city or a jural society. possessing all the rights and privileges which can be enjoyed by any person under its constitution and government and subject to the corresponding duties. All right. Now, to say that you're a national, you know, that touches, you know, some really shaky, questionable information that's floating around on the internet. And I don't care who's saying it. I don't care how good they sound. To say that you're an American national over being a citizen, when a citizen from Black's Law's Dictionary says it's a member of a free or juror society, possessing all the rights and privileges, a national doesn't possess all the rights and privileges. There are plenty of American nationals, and guess what? American Samoa, Guam, there are plenty other places that are nationals. They're American nationals. And guess what? They're not even able to govern themselves. They get a governor that is chosen to rule over their society. That governor could be completely serving corporate interests or something else, but the people aren't even able to choose who's ruling over their society. Usually, the term of a national would be applied to territories, right? Territories that are being ruled over, okay? And so I understand people are getting information from all over the place, but you can't come in to this forum with that because it's faulty. And we're not going to move on anything that's faulty. That's faulty. It's flimsy. It doesn't work. The people that are pushing it aren't successful. They don't have anything to stand on. They're all standing on sand or quicksand, because some of the people that are spouting this stuff off are going straight to prison. It's not working. There's not a single solitary, not even one simple example that you could show me of someone who is successful saying those things that you're saying. If you want to say you're an American national versus a citizen, go right ahead. Go for it. It's not going to work. Okay? I'm going to give you some examples, though, of some nationals. You have plenty of that. You have residents of Puerto Rico, and real Puerto Ricans that really know what's going on do not like being in that position. They want autonomy. They want to either be a total autonomous nation that can rule itself, or have at least have the right to, to govern, whatever form of leadership they have, whether it's governors, senators, within representation. So it's either or. They don't want to be in that position of being nationals. Okay, Guam, Northern Mariana Islands, the U.S. Virgin Islands, America, Samoa. These aren't free juror societies. It's not working. Okay, it's not working. All right, and then to try to, I gave the example of Uganda because I'm just throwing out African nations that are incorporated as well, because people want to act like, oh, it's just the big bad America. They're the corporation. No, they're all corporations on paper. Okay, all of them, because that is how it's done. This is how it's done in this modern day nation states. This is the era that we live in. You can stick your head in the sand or you can deal with it. This is the era that we live in. So to just point out that it's incorporated on paper, and that means nothing. It means nothing. That's how business is done. Okay? That's just like saying, well, the Moorish Science Temple of America was the Prophet Noble Drew Ali incorporated it. So it's just a corporation. No, it's not. Why is it not? Because he moved as a nation. What are we doing here? People proclaim their nationality. We teach them what it means. We practice civics by teaching how the government structure, how our government structure is built. Isn't that what we do here? Islam, that's what we do. So we teach how it works. We move as a nation. We're about building up our economic structure, being able to grow our own food and things like that. So it's not just a corporation. It's not just a religious corporation. It's not just the church. The Prophet went to the Pan American Conference and announced himself to the world. I hope I'm not losing you. I'm saying this for a reason. When he moved like that, it wasn't just a corporation on paper. When he got over 100,000 members together that saw themselves as Moorish Americans, it wasn't just a corporation on paper. It meant something. Okay, and so to say that the United States of America is just a corporation on paper because somebody on YouTube or somebody doing lectures sounds good when they say it, because that's what people are saying online, that's sticking your head in the sand and acting like there's not over 300 million people in the United States of America, and most of them who think differently than you. You're outnumbered. And that is, I hope this makes sense. That's taking the wrong approach. And I know some people aren't going to hear this anyway, but this is being real. If you want to tell the United States military that they're just a corporation on paper, go for it. I'm not with you. I'm not. It's foolish. I'll tell anybody that. I'll tell them that to their face because I'm not with it. It's not going to work. I'm not with doing anything that's not going to work. It's not going to work. And I'm not going to go tell any nation that they're just a corporation on paper when they have millions of people who can tell you otherwise. They have real businesses, real standing armies, yada, 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 and everything else that shows that in the physical world, they're not just a corporation on paper. It's all in how you move. Now, you can start your own corporation on paper and say that it's a nation. And if nobody's moving with you, guess what? That's all it is. But the United States of America already proved that it's not just a corporation on paper. They proved that a long time ago. All right? So you don't have to agree. This ain't even about proving somebody's right or wrong. It's just truth. It's the truth. And if you don't accept the truth, you're wrong. There's nothing else to be said about that. United States of America ain't just a corporation on paper. That sounds crazy even to have to tell that to, you know, to grown-ups. Like, come on. The Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, it's real. They will come and kick in your door. It's real, bro. It's real. Why do I have to tell people this? Sorry.
Islam. Also, to answer the brother's question, he said, why are Moorish Americans participating in the
Not
census?
on the call anymore.
So we're participating in the census because it is a way to self-identify and to show that we are here, we exist, and we have a nation. They already know it exists, but it's not enough of us claiming and practicing who we are to let everybody know that we are here and we are doing this. Islam.
I hope people can see though how that is like, that's a faulty argument. I mean, there is a lot of confusion out there, but it's like, it's fruitless. If you want to waste time in your life, your precious years of your life, doing something that's not gonna work, I don't know what to tell you. But, you know, I hope everybody can see the foolishness in that. Like, nah, you know, all of the nations incorporate. That's how, you know, that's the era that we live in with nation states. So, you know, I don't know what else to say about that. You know, we're in here to win. You know, we're not here to just talk or to just talk about the glory days or something. You know, we want to actually move and be successful. All right. And so, you know, if anybody has any other questions, feel free to speak up. Feel free to ask before we go into closing.
Happy Holy Day. You know what I'm saying?
Islam. All right. So, yeah. All right. We're going to go ahead and go into the closing. Happy Holy Day, everyone. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Please rise and face the east for the closing prayer. Right. 2 fingers on the right, 5 on the left. Allah, bind our hearts and minds back to our ancient forefathers, divine creed and principles. We ask this in thy holy name in the 7 Elohim. Amen. All right, peace and love, Moors.
Islam, happy Holy Day.
Islam.
Peace and love. Happy Holy Day.
Happy Holy Day.
Peace and love. Happy Holy Day. Stay safe and
Love
wash our
out
hands.
here. Yeah, Islam.
Peace and love. Happy Holy Day. Or these playful dragon Nashville.